Okay, so here is my top 10 complaints about humanity list. It is not in any particular order. It is not from bad to worse. It is just in the order that it came to my mind. These complaints came to my mind. Um, I wish the list was more comprehensive and more concise, but I just really felt like go ahead and putting something out. This is what I came up with. So here it is. The first one on my list is the creation of nation states. I think we, the humans, can do better than this. I think nation states, otherwise known as countries, are a pretty good way of dividing and conquering other humans. So I don't like that. I have a problem with that. So that is the first one on my list, nation states. I do not like nation states as far as trying to organize humans. Don't like it. Oh yeah, before I say number two, just real quick, I'm not gonna give much of an explanation, just a very slight explanation. This is basically just a list. This is not much of an explanation, just a list, mostly just a list. Okay, so number two, I do not appreciate supernatural explanations over natural explanations, which basically pretty much translates into religious explanations over scientific explanations. I do not like that. I think that holds us back as humans. I think that's just problematic. And I even put down here, e.g., for example, religion. So, yeah, I am not a fan. Um, there it is. That's number two. Okay, so number three, I got number three in my hand. Number three is gratuitous violence. Humans have a way of going about doing all this gratuitous violence, things like slavery, violently enslaving people, violent genocide, the imprisonment of particularly non-violent offenses. Somehow that's gratuitous violence, just a whole bunch of problem with that. Um, I mean, I guess you could, mass shootings. It's a nice long list that could be included, examples that could be included in gratuitous violence. We, the humans, somehow we find ways of committing gratuitous violence. Okay, so number four. I'm sure y'all like me in that I never signed off on having little microscopic particles, clogging up the capillaries inside my lungs, okay? So that just leads me into number four, which is pollution. Yeah, I did not think it would be a good idea to put these microscopic little particles that come out from the factory fumes and the exhaust pipes of cars and such. Whenever I go outside, that's what I get to inhale. Because guess what? I got to breathe regardless. So pollution, this is something else I have a problem with when it comes to my fellow humans. Don't like pollution? There it is, pollution. Number four, the fourth one on my list. Number five is monetary manipulation, not to be confused with currency manipulation. I wasn't thinking of that. This is more in line with the power of money in our lives, how it basically dictates our lives. And yeah, not too thrilled about having a dictator, and money dictates where you live and whether or not you can get nice food and have a nice house and breathe at least somewhat cleaner air. Yeah, it's an interesting dictator. um yeah, it definitely has a lot of control over us humans. Here's some representation of the symbols. Somehow I don't know what happened to the euro symbol. It's just somehow I didn't find it. I don't know, it's not there for some reason. Yeah, monetary manipulation. Not too thrilled about monetary systems ruling over us. Not too thrilled about that. So that's number five on my complaints about us humans. Of course, it's not innate to humans. It's not like we have to have it, we have to do it. Humans have existed without currency, without monetary systems for thousands of years, but now we humans, the vast majority of us, live under the control of money. And I think Wu-Tang Clan said it pretty good back in the 90s, fairly well, with cash rules everything around me. Okay, I think I'm on number 6 now on my list. I've kind of lost track, but I think I'm on number 6. The number for me really isn't that important, but yeah, I think I'm on number 6. So number 6 on my list is resource hoarding. Yes. An example of resource hoarding would be a group of humans who basically have um all or most of the food and drink that's worth drinking and eating, and they have it, but then there's the have-nots who don't. And those people who don't are on the brink of starvation, day after day, year after year. That I have a problem with that. Um, Interestingly enough, there's a bunch of humans who like to they give you a bunch of reasons why that is. They rationalize it so they can sleep at night, and so a lot of other people can sleep at night, but I still have a problem with it. Um, yeah, so resource hoarding. Okay, so I'm on my 7th one, and I hope I don't go on too much of a tangent with this one. But let's see. So sexual abuse. Yeah, just those words in themselves are the type of thing that virtually any human could get behind and say, "Oh yeah, that's really bad. That's a horrible thing that happens. People shouldn't be abused just in general, and they certainly shouldn't be abused sexually." But I don't think we humans really agree on what sexual abuse really is. Just think about the age of consent. Um, I know in the United States, the laws vary depending on state. Age of consent can vary. Um, when it comes to something like the law, there's the law, and then there's biology. And the law, as far as I know, doesn't really have much to say about adolescence. It's just like yes, no. It's very binary. It's like, well, this is a adult at age 18. So it's like, well, yesterday this was a child, this was a minor. And then the next day, once you have your birthday, now all of a sudden it's an adult. And of course, that's just not how biology works. You don't go to sleep and then wake up an adult. So good luck trying to say, okay, well, we're only going to have sex with adults and then have that somehow be consistent with how we have constructed these laws. I mean, I wouldn't know, but I wouldn't know these laws that well at all. But from what I've heard, is just not really, from what I know, it's just not particularly consistent with what we know about how biology works. You do not go to sleep a child and then wake up an adult on your 18th birthday. So yeah, I did go off on a bit of a tangent about consent and the law, but because I just don't have too much to say about just sexual abuse in itself as far as trying to hurry up and say something on a list, but I don't know. It's amazing how difficult it is to communicate these things to people. Like you would think that we could all just agree that, hey, this is sexual abuse. Well, good luck trying to get everybody to agree what abuse is, and then try to get everybody to agree what sexual abuse is, and then try to get that written in some type of consistent law. Okay, I don't know how to. I just okay. This is number 7 on my list. What else can I say? I don't know. I'm sure there's a better way of saying this, explaining this, but this is what I came up with. Number 7, sexual abuse. Okay, so number 8 is gratuitous lying. I think most of us would agree that, like, okay, if you're in a situation that, you lie and that leads to you keeping your body intact, as being able to escape some type of problem like that is, some type of severe problem, then lying makes sense like that. Okay. If you're going to save somebody's life, your life, or just keep you whole, not mutilated, then lying can make sense. But there is just gratuitous lying. And yeah, it can be hard to determine the difference. Life is complicated. But I just can't help but think about a situation of like, could you imagine? Fortunately, I have not experienced this particular scenario, but like, I could not imagine, being with somebody for years, thinking that they're this particular type of person, and then somehow I find out that they've been lying and they're just not that person at all. Well, there you go. That's a problem. Okay, so number 9 is willful ignorance. Um, of course, we're just mere mortals. We are not all powerful, all knowing beings, so we're not gonna know everything. But it's one thing to be ignorant, as in to just not know things. But all too often, I'm sure y'all, as my fellow humans, experience people who it just seems like they are determined to just not know. They seem determined to just really somehow just turned a blind eye to knowing what's going on. I mean, I don't I, I don't even think I have a particularly good example for this. I'm not supposed to be going in much detail anyway. It is more so just a list, but maybe you can think of your own example of just people who, and I think we all do it, that, life becomes, it can be too much information, too much out there. It's overwhelming, but all too often it just seems like it wouldn't even take that much to know just a little bit more, to be just a little bit more informed about a particular topic and just try. But somehow we this isn't me saying those humans over there, no, including myself, we humans just somehow just willfully ignore knowledge somehow. I don't know. Despite being very curious, somehow we also are just willfully ignorant. Somehow we do both. Okay, so now we're on my final entry, the last one on the list, and it's not exactly a serious one, especially compared to the rest of them, but I mean, it is my opinion, but it's compared to the rest of these, number 10 is just kind of it's just not as serious. I think for number 10, I think that we humans are pretty ugly looking. Yes, that's what I think. That is my opinion. I mean, I think cats and dogs and a lot of other animals out there are actually pretty cute, but we humans, most of us, in my humble opinion, most of us, mm, we're average at best. Most of us. I don't know what the numbers breakdown is, what I would really think if I had to, give my opinion, but it would probably be something like, only about 10% of humanity is attractive, somewhat attractive, better looking than average. And then there's maybe like 1% that are like very attractive. So most of us humans, I just don't think, my opinion, we're just not so great to look at. Yeah, it's not important at all, but that's that's me being a human, I guess. um, I kind of wish that was something. I know I'm missing something that I should say, but yeah, cats and dogs, they're cute. I don't, I was just kind of thinking, I wonder what the cutest mammal is. I don't. Well, the cutest mammal would be cats, but I don't know who the ugliest. I don't think we're the ugliest mammal, but I don't think we're cute. So humans in general, sorry to say. Sometimes I sit and I think about that. How we're just not that cute. Like, oh, look at all these cute little animals. But then humans, not so much. Oh well. All right. That's it.